Volleyball, like most sports, at the competitive level can be very taxing on a person's body. Jumping is a very big part of the sport of volleyball. In volleyball, the average player can jump 36 to 60 times during the course of a match. These numbers can vary depending on position, the length of the game, etc. Needless to say, jumping is a big part of the sport. The mechanics of jumping are a very big area of concern because of this. Due to the nature of jumping being a super ballistic movement, injury is common in volleyball. Ankle sprains, knee injury, anterior cruciate ligament, and medial and collateral ligament injuries, and shoulder injuries are all very common in volleyball. The jumping aspect of volleyball typically falls to be the culprit in most of the injuries found in this sport. Jump landing biomechanics change due to injury and can cause an athlete to completely change the way their body performs these athletic movements. The athlete's neuromuscular responses after their injury will be different because of the new neural pathways that their body has had to make in response to the injury. In a previous article examining the overall differences between injured and non-injured jumping mechanics in women, it found in their controlled lab study that the neuromuscular activity between the women with ACL reconstruction have similar neuromuscular landing mechanics. However, the joint movements combined with their neuromuscular effects predispose them to future injury. In broadening the idea of jumping, there is landing, which is arguably the most dangerous part of this movement. The method a volleyball player or any athlete uses to jump is almost as important as the process they use to land. An incorrect landing can and will result in injury, especially in volleyball. In landing, an athlete will have an elevated landing force. Elevated landing force is the force of the athlete landing on the ground from a jump. Correct landing mechanics are essential to the overall movements required to play volleyball. Through examining elevated landing force, researchers are able to examine whether it has a lasting effect on injury and if that effect is stimulated by the height and force of the jump. Researchers could also examine how previous injuries impact this jumping force. This research study's key focus is to answer the question of how a volleyball player's elevated landing force impacts their rate of injury.